Good morning, children. Welcome back to English literature class. Today we are going to see what is happening in Act 3, Scene 4 of Merchant of Venice. Once again, the scene shifts to Belmont. The scene is taking place in a room in Portia's house in Belmont. Here we can see Portia handing over the charge of her house to Jessica and Lorenzo, telling them that she will be visiting monasteries in order to pray for her husband and was taking Nerissa with her. She sends her trusted servant Balthazar to Padua with a letter for a learned lawyer, Dr. Bellario, instructing him to return with speed. He is to meet her at the ferry sailing for Venice. She then tells Nerissa to dress like a young man, just as she will, and they are off to the prior to get a ferry to Venice. So please open your reader. Act 3, Scene 4. As I told you, the scene shifts to Belmont. The previous scene was taking place in a street in Venice. This Act 3, Scene 4 is in Belmont, in a room in Portia's house. When the scene opens, Portia, Nerissa, Lorenzo, Jessica and Balthazar enter. Lorenzo, Madam, although I speak it in your presence, you have a noble and a true conceit of godlike amity. Here, Lorenzo tells Portia that usually I don't praise anyone in their presence. But here I don't hesitate to tell you that you have gotten godlike amity. That means you have got a good understanding of spiritual friendship. Why she has got this quality? Why she has got a spiritual friendship, divine friendship with Bassanio? Because she is a noble lady. And the proof is that she allowed Bassanio to go to Venice soon after their engagement. Before getting married, she allowed him to go to Venice and help his best friend Antonio. So here she has got a good understanding of spiritual friendship. That is, the friendship is called as spiritual because it is a divine friendship. Why it is divine friendship? Because of her nature, she is a noble person. So she has got a deep understanding. Only such people will be able to sacrifice this, which appears most strongly in bearing thus the absence of your Lord. So your spiritual friendship is proved. Your noble character is proved in your bearing the absence of your husband. That is a true love. But if you knew to whom you show this honor, how true a gentleman you send relief, how dear a lover of my lord your husband, I know you would be prouder of the work than customary bounty can enforce you. So here Lorenzo tells her, if you knew to whom you have shown this honor. Which honor? Sending her husband soon after the engagement to Venice to save his friend, to help out his friend. And how good a man he is, to whom you have sent help. How close a friend he is of your husband. You would be proud of what you have done. Your action is more valuable than your usual acts of generosity. Otherwise, she is generous. She is generous, but when you come to know that how good a person he is, that is, her husband's friend is, to whom she has done this act of generosity, she would feel more proud. Portia, I never did repent for doing good, nor shall not now. Till now, I have never repented for doing good things in life. I have never regretted. I never felt bad for doing good things, and hereafter also I will not. For in companions that do converse and waste the time together, whose souls do bear an equal yoke of love, there must be needs a like proportion of lineaments of manners and of spirit, which makes me think that this Antonio, being the bosom lover of my friend Lord, must needs to be like my Lord. Here, why is she is not feeling bad, or why is she not regretting for sending Bassanio to Antonio? Because she gives the reason is that when two friends spend their time together, show deep respect for each other, and when their souls are joined together by the same bond of love, there must be something similarity in their characteristics, behavior, and disposition. Disposition means understanding between them, between both of them. This makes me conclude that Antonio, being the dearest friend of my husband, must be like husband. So she has got a very good opinion, very high opinion about her own husband, Bassanio. She knows that he is a gentleman, he is a noble person. So she says that when Bassanio loves Antonio so deeply, Antonio also will be like Bassanio. Antonio's nature also will be like Bassanio. There will be a lot of similarity in their characteristics, behavior, and understanding disposition. So she concluded that, from this she concluded that Bassanio's friend Antonio is a very good person. So she does not repent for having sent her husband there, and also having sent help. If it be so, how little is the cost I have bestowed in purchasing the semblance of my soul from out the state of hellish cruelty? Then she feels that if this is the case, there is hardly any sacrifice made by me to save the likeliness of my husband from such a horrible misery. That means I have done very little to help out my husband's closest friend. Very less I have done. Praising of myself, so purchasing the semblance of my soul from state of the hellish cruelty. This comes too near the praising of myself, therefore no more of it. So she says that if I say so, that I have done very little to save my husband's friend from the hellish cruelty, from the hands of Shylock, it looks as if I am praising myself. So I don't want to do that. I don't like it. So therefore let us stop here. Lorenzo, I commit into your hands the husbandry and manage of my house until my Lord's return. So here she tells Lorenzo that she is going to entrust to Lorenzo the care and management of her household and until her husband comes back. For mine own part, I have toward heaven breathed a secret vow to live in prayer and contemplation, only attended by Nerissa here, until her husband and my Lord's return. And she says that she has taken a secret vow, secret oath she has taken to live in prayer and meditation till her husband comes, and only Nerissa will be with her. Nobody else will be there. So where she is going for that? So what she has taken in a secret vow to live in prayer and meditation for the well-being of her husband, only attended by Nerissa there. Only Nerissa would be there with her until her husband and my Lord return. There is a monastery 2 miles off, and there we will abide. Where are they going to stay? In a monastery where monks stay. There they are going to stay in prayer and meditation. I do desire you not to deny this imposition. Which imposition? What she is imposing on him, what she is requesting him to do, to take care of her household. So she requests him not to reject it. The which my love and some necessity now lays upon you. So what is the reason for Portia to bestow this duty on Lorenzo? That is her love towards him, and there is some necessity for her. So that these are the 2 reasons. Children, this is a question answer also. So these are the 2 reasons why she is asking Lorenzo to take care of her household things. Only Lorenzo. She did not ask anybody else. Only Lorenzo she asked. Lorenzo, Madam, with all my heart, I shall obey you in all fair commands. Yeah, Madam, I am going to obey you wholeheartedly. I am so happy that you have bestowed me he was very glad to get such a responsibility, and also think that Portia likes him and believes him and trusts him. He was very happy. Portia, my people do already know my mind and will acknowledge you and Jessica in place of Lord Bassanio and myself. And so farewell till we shall meet again. So she consoles her. Lorenzo may be in doubt whether her people, her servants will agree to this. And then she said that my people do already know my intentions and they will accept you and Jessica as master and mistress in place of Bassanio and myself. So goodbye till we meet again. Lorenzo, fair thoughts and happy hours attending on you. Lorenzo wishes her happiness. Jessica, I wish you ladyship all hearts content. She also wishes her happiness. Portia, I thank you for your wish and am well pleased to wish it back on you. Fare you well, Jessica. And the same thing Portia wishes back to Jessica and Lorenzo because they are also newly married. And Exeunt, Jessica and Lorenzo, they go out from there. Now Portia turns to Balthazar. Now Balthazar, as I have ever found thee honest true, so let me find thee still. All this time I've seen you honest and true and trustworthy. And so let me find thee still. Hereafter also I expect the same thing from you. Take this same letter and use all the endeavor of a man to speed to Padua. So what is the work she has given? She asked him to take that letter and to reach Padua as fast as a man can do. So where he has to go? To Padua. What she has given him? A letter. See though, render this into my cousin's hand, Dr. Bellario. She asked him to give that letter to her cousin. His name is Dr. Bellario. He is a lawyer, doctor of law. And look what notes and garments he doth give. He was that cousin would give some notes and garments so that he has to bring back. And doth give thee, bring them. I pray thee with imagined speed unto the Tranect, to the common ferry which trades to Venice. So where he has to bring that? He has to bring with them at most speed to the Tranect, as the public ferry is called, which carries passengers to hire to Venice. So where she's asking him to bring that to the Tranect, where you can see the ferry, the boats, which travels to Venice. Waste no time in words, but get thee gone. I shall be there before thee. So before you reach the Tranect, I'll be waiting for you there. So bring it there also. So here, children, I want to tell you one thing. Here, we, the audience, are getting a clue that Portia is going to Venice. We get a clue because he's asking Balthazar to bring the notes and garments to the ferry which is going to go to Venice. But the main characters like Antonio, Bassanio, they don't have any clue. Graciano, they don't have any clue that or any knowledge that she would be going to Venice. But we audience. So this is called as dramatic irony. What is it called? Dramatic irony. Balthazar, Madam, I go with all convenient speed. That means as fast as I can, I will go. Portia, come on, Nerissa. I have work in hand that you yet know not of. I have got some plan in my mind, but I have not told you yet. We will see our husbands before they think of us. So what is her plan? To meet their husbands, to see their husbands when they least expected to see them. That means before they think about their wives, these wives will be reaching to that place where their husbands are there. Shall they see us? Nerissa is asking. Shall they see us? Portia, children, this part is quite important. How they are planning to disguise and go to Venice. Very, very important this part. And Portia, they shall, Nerissa, but in such a habit that they shall think we are accomplished with that we lack. So, yes, Nerissa, they are going to see us, but in such a dress, habit means dress, and in such a nature which we lack. That means what nature they lack? They lack masculinity. Portia and Nerissa are females. They lack masculinity. So their husbands are going to see them as males. For that only she is asking for dress. Talking about the dress. I'll hold thee any wager when we are both accounted like young men. She also says that we are going to disguise as young men, and that time what she will do, I'm prepared to bet with you any amount. When we are both dressed like young men, I will be more handsome of the two. So young man, I'll prove the pettier fellow of the two. She says that when we disguise as young men, I will be looking prettier to you and wear my dagger with a braver grace. So I will be wearing a dagger or holding a dagger to look more courageous, brave, to look more brave, and speak between the change of man and boy with a reed voice. So reed voice means harsh voice. That is the changing voice. Little changing when boys become in an adolescent age, you would have seen that boys' voice cracks. So I will be talking in such a voice. And fellow of the two, and speak between the change of man and boy with a reed voice, harsh voice, and turn two mincing steps into a manly stride. Usually, females walk in small steps. So here she says that since we have disguised as men, we should not walk like ladies. That is her plan. So what she will do, she will add two smaller steps to make it a manly stride and speak of race like a fine bragging youth. So small lies. She will be talking like a boastful young person. Those who boast and tell quaint lies, how honorable ladies sought my love, which I denying they fell sick and died, and I could not do withal. Then I'll repent and wish for all that I had not killed them. So she says that I will be talking small lies and some brave things also, and tell quaint lies. How honorable ladies means noble ladies, ladies from good families. They were behind my love, and I refused I denied everyone's love, and they all fell sick. And which, when I denied, they fell sick and died. I would also tell them that I could not do anything but express sorrow. So, because I denied my love towards them, they all fell sick and died. Then I could not do anything. I just felt sorry for them. And 20 of these puny lies I will tell, like that. So many lies. 20 means not exact 20, it is just a number. 20, so many lies, puny lies, petty lies I will be telling. That men shall swear I have discontinued school above a 12-month. Then looking at me or listening to me, people will think that he has or I have left my school, education. Here school means not school, it is education. Just 12 months, that means 1 year ago. I have within my mind 1,000 road tricks of these bragging jacks. Like that, I have got so many such tricks, boastful ways are there in my mind, which young boys do. Okay, so they will think that I am just I'll just finish my education and I am very young. And like that, so many things are there, small tricks are there in my mind. So what are they planning to do? They are going to disguise as young men, and their husbands will see them the quality which they lack. What is the quality they lack? The masculinity. But here they are going to see them as males, and she would hold a dagger to have a braver grace, to look brave, more brave, and she will talk in a harsh voice, and she will add two mincing small steps to make a large manly step. And she talk of brave things about her bravery, and she will be very boastful. She will tell so many small lies, like so many noble ladies were behind his love, and he denied their love. They fell sick and died, and just feel sorry that she should not have been the reason for that. She means here Portia disguised as a young man. Like that, so many small tricks or plans she has got in her mind. But come, I'll tell thee all my whole device when I am in my coach, which stays for us when I at the park gate. Then she says that, okay, come now. I'll let you know all my plan when we are in the carriage, in the vehicle, which is now waiting for us at the entrance of the park. Let us hurry up. Haste away, for we must measure 20 miles today. So let's hurry up. We have to travel 20 miles a day. So children, please read this part, and this part is very important, how she was planning to disguise herself, and also Nerissa. Okay, so thank you. Have a nice day.